I ain't gotta prove nothing to nobody else. That's why I will never get too hyped about the win after I win, because it's like you always gotta do something over and over again till you done. And it's always gonna be somebody next, somebody next, somebody next. So I feel as though I don't have to prove myself to these people.
Let's go! Lift it up! Come on! Come on, man!
You're here. You know what I'm saying? So we're striving to be the best that we can be to be on that level again. You know? So, you know, you saying you want to do what you want to do, that's good, because that's what you want.
That's the God in you that's trying to
that's good.
seek it,
and,
you know?
and you giving back and giving thanks.
Gervonta Davis is sharpening every weapon in his arsenal as he prepares to face Jake Paul. His powerful punches don't just come from talent, they come from relentless training and hard work. In his camp, the focus is on strength, timing, and endurance, making sure he stays dangerous every second of the fight. On the other hand, Jake Paul is taking this fight very seriously, calling it the toughest challenge of his career. To get ready, he's brought in elite sparring partners like Shakur Stevenson, Raymond Ford, and Montana Love. These fighters are helping him improve his speed, timing, and confidence before he faces Tank Davis.
So that's boxing at its finest right there. You heard it. They said it. Make that bad. Everything on the line. You know, that's old school right there. That's it.
Gervonta Davis is putting a big focus on conditioning, especially building core strength to handle powerful punches. Having experienced hard hits in the ring, he knows how important toughness and stability are during a fight. His workouts include intense balance, posture, and endurance drills designed to improve the explosiveness of his punches. Everything in his training camp runs at full intensity as he builds strength, stamina, and a champion's mindset for the upcoming battle against Jake Paul.
Ain't nobody break box, exhale. Ain't nobody break box. Man, boom on that last break. I got him. We can't shit box.
I don't want that hip drop.
Yeah, I felt it.
Good, perfect. That was your best rep. Come on.
Paul is deep in training camp, fully aware that this fight will be his biggest challenge yet. To prepare for Davis, he's working with top-level talent to push his limits. Shakur Stevenson is helping him during sparring sessions, giving Jake valuable experience against one of boxing's most technical fighters. He's also training with Raymond Ford and Montana Love to boost his speed, timing, and defense. Jake knows that Tank Davis is faster, smarter, and far more dangerous than anyone he's faced before. That's why every day in camp is focused on improving his boxing skills and building confidence for fight night. Gervonta Davis has built his name through dedication and discipline. His trainer, Calvin Ford, has seen him grow from a young dreamer into a true champion who performs under pressure. Ford reminds everyone that success doesn't happen by accident. It comes from long hours, focus, and sacrifice. Everything Davis has today, he's earned through hard work. As the fight with Jake Paul approaches, the boxing world is watching closely and sharing strong opinions about what's coming next.
There's just so much stuff. And man, King was sitting there talking about it, and the majority of it is when he was little. We talk about all the stuff when he was little, and he started laughing like, dang.
When I get by myself, I always try to like think about like back in the day something.
Yeah. But we can tell.
I just noticed that just now, me talking about it, but when I get by myself, I be trying to.
No, we can tell. When I listen to your interview, I like listening to your interviews that you do, and I can tell when you reflect back on certain things. Yeah. You can see it. You can see it. That's when I think you at your peace, and you start reflecting back and you talking about.
When he say something that we told him a long time ago,
and I said, damn, we like, damn, he did remember that.
Yeah, he remember that shit.
I see Brody been calling you a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, as far as on the which card trying to fight.
Veteran trainer Abel Sanchez views this matchup as a huge opportunity for Davis. He explains that most fighters give their bodies, time, and youth to boxing and still struggle financially. But this fight, he says, is different. The financial reward is massive, something very few boxers get during their prime. Sanchez believes Davis deserves a moment where boxing finally pays him back. While the fight with Jake Paul might not be for a title, it offers a life-changing reward that could secure Davis's future.
I like the fight, but as a coach, I think it's a good move for Tank Davis. I mean, I've seen too many kids go out of this sport with not a cent in their pocket. And I think that if Tank Davis takes advantage of a big payday like that, I think it's a ridiculous fight as far as a fight fan. But as a coach, I understand it. You have to take care of your own.
Yeah, you know, well, actually, now that we're talking about it, you're not the biggest fan of it. Fight fans are bringing up like, hey, you know, why did he go this way when there's Lamont Roach? Like, look how close that fight was. There was a draw. We were expecting a rematch in that fight.
Yeah, well,
what's happening here?
As much as we hate it, it hasn't become really a sport. It's become a financial sport. So he took it because it's 5-6 times more than he's going to make with Lamont Roach. That makes sense. I mean, ask anybody if they have a choice, they're going to take the money. Of course, he's got to take care of his people. He's got to take care of himself. He's got to take care of his future. That's the smartest thing to do. As a fight fan, I don't like it, but as a coach, I understand it.
Yeah, no, and I think anybody in that position, like, we gotta like put ourselves maybe sometimes in that same situation, and I think
absolutely
anybody with like any like sense of like common sense would look at that and be like, wait, I'm making this much to fight against this guy that's only been fighting for 5 years compared to what could be maybe a really hard fight, and I'm gonna make double, triple. Yeah, I'm gonna go, let me do this little side quest real quick and let me get this money real fast, and then.
Of course, you have to take care of your future, man. If it's offered to you, you'd be foolish not to take it, especially against a guy that is no threat to him.
Oh, well, I don't know. It's 50 pounds, Abel.
Yeah, but he's no threat to him. Tank Davis fights the way he fights. Understand that Tank Davis fights. He's probably one of my favorite fighters. I think I've said that many a times. He fights in a manner where he's fought all those big guys. Look at the way he throws his punches. Look at how he ducks down like if he's fighting a real big guy. Look at the way he fought when he knocked out Garcia. Look at where he puts his head and how he throws his punches. In the street, that's who he was fighting. He was fighting bigger guys than him. He was always a smaller guy. So he knows how to fight those big guys. He knows how to duck up underneath and throw those looping shots because that's who he fought in the street. At least that's my opinion anyway. He's always been the little guy, and I'm sure that in the streets he wasn't acquired.
Chris Algieri praises Davis for what he brings to modern boxing. He explains that the sport today isn't only about skill, it's also about star power, attention, and excitement. Whenever Tank Davis steps into the ring, the energy rises. Fans watch because they know anything can happen. He's one of the best finishers in boxing with knockout power that keeps crowds standing. Algieri believes Davis represents boxing's new era, blending entertainment with greatness and understanding how to stay relevant in today's media-driven world.
And the face of boxing is basically, the face of boxing now is based on if you sell and if people tune in and how many eyes are tuning in when you fight. Gervonta Davis had that. Jake Paul has that. Now they're fighting each other.
Again, these are created products. These are still created products. Jake made his name going to Walgreens and then making funny faces. You know what I mean? And then it was just blowing up on YouTube and whatnot, right? I mean, that's how he started.
The world we live in now, dude. It's unfortunate. Okay, so, it's not like Sugar Ray Leonard, who was the best fighter in the world and marketable. It's not like Oscar De La Hoya, who was a gold medalist, a great fighter and marketable.
But what I'm saying is technology allows us to make, if I want to take this shoe off right here, and I say, I want to make my Nike sneaker into the best product possible, and I got enough money to push it behind it. I put it all over your social media platform, and I put it all over your TV set and all over your phone and all over. You know what, bro?
There's been ongoing talk about Jake Paul's fights being fixed or unfair, but former champions Carl Froch and Paulie Malignaggi disagree. They say the fights aren't staged, but they admit that the conditions often favor Jake Paul. Jake usually has the size, weight, and rules in his favor, making fights easier for him. They believe something similar might happen against Davis. However, they also agree that Davis has the skills to change everything. If the fight turns into a pure test of boxing ability, Tank Davis is the superior fighter, and that could make all the difference.
You know, an exhibition, you could stage it and they couldn't take bets on it. So this is an exhibition. There is no betting on it. So that means I'm not saying people are going crazy with the opinions who's going to win, who's going to lose. You don't know what size gloves they're going to wear. You don't even know if they're going to stage the whole thing, because this is something that as an exhibition, it's not illegal to stage it. So I think this could be all kinds of crazy, wacky stuff. This is a bit of a circus, in my opinion.
Who would you think should win that fight? Would you think that Davis should be able to get in there, even though the size did 100 pounds? Do you think he should be able to do it?
If they don't stage it and don't kind of set up a sort of a mild sparring session, I'd say Davis has a chance. Depends on the size of the gloves. Because here's the thing, Jake is probably 100 pounds bigger than the guy. You know, that's a lot of weight, Carl. You know, you've been in a boxing ring, that still counts. And if you make the gloves small, Gervonta could technically hurt Jake even if he hits him. But the problem is that the gloves are small. Jake could also hurt Gervonta because Gervonta's so small. Gervonta's so much smaller than him, you know? So do you make the gloves big, and then really who's got that advantage? I don't know. You know, technically Gervonta's a lot better boxer, but he's so much smaller. I've stood next to Jake. Jake's a big guy. It's like I said, it's a bit of a circus freak show, and that's why I don't put it out of the question that this exhibition could be a bit staged in the ring.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's a fair point, that is. And actually,
people aren't talking about that enough. I feel like people aren't talking about that enough.
Well, he's threatening to sue everybody who talks about it, and anyone who talks about it.
Well, that's because his fights have been sanctioned, and I personally don't think he has set up the other fights. I personally think, you know, like Mike Tyson, he had no legs left. You know what I mean? I to tell you the truth, I thought that was an easy one to bet and call. It was that Jake would beat Mike Tyson, and even some of these other fights, you know, they're smaller. Jake doesn't set up his fights. I think what he does is he stacks the deck against his opponents in those fights. So I wouldn't call them staged, but they're deck stackers. You know, so he has an advantage. In this situation, though,